Hey guys, this is Liz with AuthorX. I'm going to really quickly show you how you can discover what tense and what person you want to use in your books. Now, if you don't know, there are different ways you can write a book. There's first person, second person, third person. First person is I, where it's all from your character's perspective, and second person is you, which is not generally used in fiction, but it is sometimes used in fan fiction. If you've ever seen your name type stories where the idea is that you're having a romance with somebody from BTS or some other figure from fiction, that's second person, but generally not used for actual books. And third person is he or she, and you can have third person from kind of an omniscient point of view, or you can have third person from different perspectives, like Game of Thrones, where every chapter is from a different character's perspective, or you can have third person limited, where it's all from the perspective of one character. With romance, you sometimes get dual first person, where each chapter or every couple of chapters you switch perspectives from the female main character to the male main character. And one way, if you are really lost about which one you want to use, I would really recommend going to the bestseller list and navigating to your preferred subgenre. Now, for this project, I'm doing wolf shifter stories, so I'm going to go here, but whatever your preferred subgenre is, find it on the bestseller list. Excuse me. And start there. Now, it is raining in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a lot of water going down the gutters, so if you hear that sound, that's what's going on. But I'm just going to show you how you can really quickly see what all the bestsellers in your genre are using, and that's really easy to use. Also, tense, there's past, present, future. We generally don't use future tense for stories, but it's usually either past or present. Usually past is preferred, but some people use present. So let's just get started. Let's start with Midnight Truth. This is the bestseller. And now what I would do is, before I read, is go up to contents, because often when there are dual perspectives, the chapters, it'll say, chapter 1, Rory, chapter 2, Luna, chapter 3, Rory, chapter 4, Luna. It'll almost always have the character names. So with Look Inside, you can only see usually the first few pages, so you can't always tell. But if the chapters are alternating like that, you know that it's a dual first-person book. So that doesn't seem to be the case with this one. We're just going to go down to literally the first page. I trailed behind Raina and my grandfather, so we slipped from the portal in the library, blah, 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 blah. Really, basically in the first two words, this is first person and past tense. Read a little bit more just to make sure. My jaw dropped that they're not doing alternating, but I think this is just first person past tense. And yeah, I shouldn't have left without talking to him. So now you know what. Now I would recommend actually reading some of the bestsellers, but for this tutorial we're just going to be looking at person and tense. It's really quite simple. I just clicked on this while holding down the command key or the Apple key, and that loaded it in a new window. My black Jetta's headlights lit up, so lit is past tense, as I crept my car up the winding road. Let's go up. Okay, so these are chapter names, but these have character names in them. I mean, they have Sylvia and Anna, but generally, if you had dual perspective, it would be, again, chapter 1, Ryan, chapter 2, Leslie, chapter 3, Ryan, chapter 4, Leslie, or something like this. This could just be introducing characters. Let's just scroll down. My eyes drifting down his body. Shirtless torso. Oh my, okay. I realized I was hanging. So we're just going to see if this will show us chapter 2. I'm guessing this whole thing is first person past tense, but let's see. And the squeak behind me. And I wondered if I would ever get used to people having to think before they made eye contact with me. Okay, so this basically 99% chance the whole book is first person past tense. Sometimes authors will do something a little bit different, but I think this is pretty reliable that this is first person past tense. Wolf-ish. Let's look at. Now, when you're doing this, also note what they have in their front matter. A lot of these books will have maps. So you don't need guides if you don't want, especially if you're just starting out and you don't want to be paying a graphic designer to make those, or maybe you can design them yourself, but you don't really have time. Well, maybe it's something to think about after you've published your books. You might want to do a soft relaunch where you add those details. So, see, the vivid images raced through my mind, tightening my ribcage and squeezing my lungs to my heart. Searing pain lanced across my chest and a sob wrenched free. I sucked in a sharp breath as their weight crushed my inside. So, this is first person past tense. Now, you should already be noticing a pattern. Most all of these are first person past tense. If you want to write in this genre, you should probably at least strongly consider writing your book in first person past tense. If that doesn't feel right for your book, you don't have to. I do think you have to consider at least somewhat what the market responds to, what they like. And again, look at contents. This is not dual first person. Okay, I hope my voice came off less dejected. Alright, hidden mate. I'm just going to do these ones really quickly. And we already did mate finder. Wolf girl. Again, here's a city map. See, I hated Mondays. They were like a period. They just snuck up on me out of nowhere. I settled into first period. The literal troll being on the back of my neck. Okay. Here's the chapters. No dual first person. It doesn't show you anymore, but I really was in Werewolf Bachelor. There we go. Wolf Kissed. You can see many of these have dedications. Oh, here we go. So, you can see Kate, Roman, Kate, Roman, Kate, Roman. So, clearly this is, even though we can't see into chapter 3, this is a dual first-person book. Or it's either dual first-person or it's dual third-person limited. And third-person limited would be where, he got up, he walked to the door. What was she thinking, he thought. And then the next chapter is she looked at him, she thought he was crazy. It's third person, but it's from one character's perspective. Let's go down and check. Again, here's a world map. You don't need this if you don't have the funds to do it or you don't have the time, but that's just something to note that a lot of these genres feature maps. So, Kate, boobs and abs, they were all I saw while wading in the waves on the Sydney beach. I've been in Australia for a few months and admired their lack of give a damn. Okay, so, likewise not, this is first person past, dual first person past. So far it's been all first person past, one dual first person past. Let's look at this one. What said is he set my pink luggage on the ground. He focused his silver eyes on me and ran a hand through his messy chestnut brown hair. Okay. First person past. Looks like there's no subtitle saying someone's name, so this is probably the whole book. We may, again, sometimes, let me see him stayed on my shoulder. I expect him to drop his hands with propulsion, so whole book is probably first person. Past, let's see, Alpha Girl, same series. Let's just see if they changed it up. Probably not. Savage Face, Shifter Island. Let's see. Sage and I burst through the forest as we ran blindly away from the haunting house. Sawyer's voice. I felt him shut down inside of our bond. Okay, first person past. No subtitle saying the name, and we saw the first one was not dual first person, so that's probably how it is for this. Midnight Sun, high school, or was purgatory the right word? If there were any way to atone for my sins, this ought to count for a battalion in some measure. I stared at the cracks running through the plaster in the far corner of the cafeteria. Voices I ignored out of boredom. Really nice guy, this Edward Cullen. Just really, really a mensch. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, so this is also first person past. Again, sensing a theme. If you want to write in this genre, I think you should seriously consider first person past because these are all different books. Now here's the name. So it was dawn. I'd opened the window, letting the light stream across my flesh to fill my magical reserves. So this is a name for a chapter header. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we can scroll down. Okay, so even though it doesn't say it, this is why it helps to check. There's Gabriel and Elise. So I'm guessing I shot away down the road at full speed. I looked around. So this one is another dual first person. So Elise and Gabriel. So far we have 2 dual first person past. Everything else is just first person past, all from one character. Let's see, this is another one in the series. The moon hung bright and heavy in the night sky. At least I hope that was stayed. And my stomach boiled and I shivered. So there we go. I'm guessing this whole thing is I stumbled through the portal and tripped over my feet. Okay. Now I would recommend giving these a little bit less of a cursory look than we are today, but right now we're just trying to figure out. And you don't have to do all the top 100. I would look at least the top 20 just to see, and you can go even faster than we're going right now. Running from the wolves. My manager sounded tired. For first person past, I didn't blame him. I was tired of this conversation too. There's no name underneath this, so I'm guessing it's not dual first person. There's copyright dedication. Free. See a male voice rumbled. So I forced my eyes open. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm going to go down to the bottom of the sample. I yelled back, okay. I waved the eagle feather in like zigzag motion. And yeah, now you can see again, we looked at an earlier one. These are all, even though some of them have character names, they're all from the perspective of the female. And let's look at this. Interestingly, I think this is the first traditionally published book on the bestseller list. So that I don't know if that's encouraging or discouraging. Depends on your perspective. It does mean that a lot of people are reading self-published books in this genre. So here you can see these are the chapters. See Zane stood only a few feet from me. The cool breeze, or was the what I believed I was seeing. So let's go to, we saw chapter 1. Let's go to chapter 2. Routine to spin. I knew what Zane meant when he said he was flying. Okay. Same thing here. I'm gonna repeat my morning affirmation 3 more times. Now look, this says Ruby, so as the name, so I'm guessing this part is first person past. Okay, here we go. Ruby, Ruby, Xavier or Javier. Ruby, Ruby, Ruby. And then Natalie. Interesting. So we have a triple first person perspective, I'm guessing, but it's almost all from one character. So whether you want to consider this dual or triple or multiple or mostly first person past for one character, kind of up to you. I would just call this dual first person because there's only 2 chapters from a different perspective. But that's interesting. That's just something to know. No, I think this is also indie published. But had I been 14 minutes earlier, I'd be the claimed one instead of my sister. Okay. Again, no character names for chapter names. Let's go to chapter 2. There's 16 wolfmen here, ranging in age from older teenagers to adults. I whisper in her ear, do you know what comes next? So, first person, past tense, balance, I'm guessing. Yeah. Let's see. There's a lot of backstory. I was itching to find Layla. Okay, first person past. Guessing this is going to be first person past. I heard him in ways I wish more than anything that I could take back. Okay. First person past. Let's just look. I stood as soon as class was over and hurried out the door. Alright. So we've looked at these. We don't really need to go beyond this point, but you can if you want. Pretty much all of them are first person past. Almost all are from the just one character's perspective, but there were 3 or 4 that were from dual perspectives, and there was that one book that had a final chapter from another character's perspective. So looks like if you want a book to sell well in this genre, that's what you should consider, either doing first person past tense or dual first person past tense, but more than likely just single first person past tense from a single character's perspective. It's up to you. Of course, you can try something else, but I would recommend, honestly, going with the crowd with this, because that's what people are interested in, that's what they respond to, and that's not enough to make you a bestseller, but it's certainly going to help if it meets their expectations. Now, does that mean you should make a cookie cutter book that's just exactly the same as all the others? No, definitely not. But you do want to make it easy for them to read, easy for them to respond to, and you take your own twist on it. To put your own twist on the genre or your own perspective, it helps if it does follow these basic genre conventions, which for this genre appears to be first person past tense, either single, dual, or maybe multiple, but probably single or dual perspective. So I'm just going to look at this one just again to see. Chapter 1, I lifted my bag up over my shoulder. I wasn't stupid. This one has the name, so let's go up. Lexi Ranger. And now notice, I think almost all of the books we've seen that are dual perspective, or this one is multiple perspective, because we've got Rafferty and Galen and Maverick here. I'm guessing these are the love interest. It's 2 for the girl and then 1 for the guy. 2 for the girl, 1 for the guy. And then 3 for the girl, 1 for the guy. So that's just something to consider. And you may be thinking that, well, that's really restrictive. It's really not. I think Orson Welles once said the enemy of art is the absence of limitations. Think of this as a limitation from within which you can make any kind of story that you like. I'm sure if we did an exhaustive read of all these books on the bestseller list, we would find they all have kind of slightly different rules. For wolves or wolf shifters, they would have different perspectives. But following the conventions for person and tense is just going to make your job of marketing that much easier. So that's it, and I hope that was helpful, and happy writing.